Welcome to the ERN Spotlight with Ari Lipto. Welcome to the ERN Spotlight. I'm Ari Lipto, and today we're sitting with Jacob Birn. Jacob, can you tell us what you do for a living?
Thank you, Ari, for asking me to do this. I always appreciate. First thing, I know this isn't part of it, but Ari runs a great ERN group. I want to shout him out first before I even talk about myself. It's a way for entrepreneurs to really meet one another and get referrals. That's the bottom line of it. Ari, I'm sure, can tell you a lot more that I'm not saying. So what do I do for a living? I run two advertising, startups. One is called Addictive Ads. And with Addictive Ads, I pay people to post ads on their WhatsApp status. I started about 2.5 years ago, and it's gone pretty well ever since. We've had clients who try to boost up their media space, try to boost up an Instagram, try to boost a clothing listing, try to get more exposure as funding. We've really done everything from services to just boosting up a presence. So that's something I do. And the second thing that I do is AdMrt, ADMRT, and that is going to be a more ad buying and selling experience. Totally transparent. You can really type in any demographic and target audience, and it'll show you right away who fits in the proper advertising target market.
Cool. How did you can share a little bit how you got involved with, and it sounds like they're kind of interconnected, but how did you get involved with the first one and then,
Sure. I'll be honest, Addictive Ads, I started in my college apartment in 2022. I was bored and finishing up my last semester of college. I majored in finance, and I basically thought about this, like, this could work. So I paid some of my closest friends to post ads on their WhatsApp status, and from there, I must have gotten 100, 150 more signups. And then businesses started to hear about me because I was posting, come get paid to post, and they figured, we should use this guy to advertise. And one of my oldest clients still uses me today, so that feels really good. And yeah, that's how I got started with that business.
Really cool. And how did AdMrt come about?
So AdMrt came about because when I was starting to buy and sell ads on like more bigger audiences, like magazines, Instagram influencers, really podcasts, there isn't an easy way to do it because you want to get paid at the end of the day. You're in this to make a living. And something that happened is companies come to me and say, I want to be on a podcast. And then there'll be a lot of back and forth from the beginning to the podcast, back to the ad host, back to the service is trying to advertise. And it was too much. So at the end of the day, I was making a couple percentage points of the deal. And when reality, I'm like, there has to be a way to automate this. So that's what I started to do. I built AdMrt, and that was the goal, was to add a transparent element to the ad buying and selling, like a space, experience, whatever you want to say.
So that sounds obviously pretty self-explanatory. With regards to Addictive Ads, why should someone, what would make someone want to work with you?
Sure. At Addictive Ads, we provide, I like to say, a very niche target. We make that available to companies. You can go on and say, I only want men in Brooklyn posting my ad, and I'll make it happen. Or we only want women in Lakewood. Or we only want people over the age of 30 posting the ad. We can make all of these happen. We have a database of posters that probably is over 1,000 posters at this point, maybe a little more. So that's something cool that we've built. And yeah, that's why someone should use us, because it's more target effective. You're really niched out.
I like that. And what is one thing you would want potential customers to understand about your industry?
Yeah, so one thing I would like customers to understand about the advertising industry, we'll call it, because that's the scope of it. I'm sure I'm in a very small sliver of it, but the scope of it is to ask questions. Like, I hope when someone comes to me, they can ask, like, hey, tell me a little more about this. Hey, what are the views? Like, ask questions, try to get all the information they can. And something else they should learn in advertising is that, or a customer, is that I'm not necessarily going to understand your audience just by you sending me an ad. I tell us as much as you can about your ad and your target audience and your target market and who your ideal customer is. And that will make most advertising, let's call it, technologies, spaces, platforms work better for you.
Don't just throw something at the wall and say, I want to do this and expect it to work. It's magic.
Yeah, exactly. Just tell us as much as you can. And once you tell us as much as you can, of course, we like to assume, and say, you're running you're running a shirt business for men. You want to advertise in shirt for men, obviously. But even tell us that. Like, just tell us. The more you tell us, the more we can probably help you.
Exactly. Can you share some examples of how it's evolved from, when you first started till where it is today, and why?
Yeah, I put my heart, sweat, and tears into this. I'm proud of what I did. I started from nothing, and it's evolved from just a little, I don't know, WhatsApp thing where I was paying people to automations for payments and just being able to talk to as many posts as I can per day and try and organize payments. That's what's really evolved to. And yeah, I just continue to hope that Addictive Ads is a recognizable name throughout the Jewish marketing world. I feel like that's fair. And that's what I hope to
Yeah,
continue to evolve for. Yeah.
got it. What Either what works for you, or what would you say is the best way to handle negative and positive customer feedback?
So the best way to handle negative feedback is to understand why first they are upset, or why necessarily didn't go so well. And then what I like to do is try to offer services maybe closer to mine, people who necessarily would be able to do a better job. And then from there, I can try to offer them like something returned, or like a little, like, okay, next time I hope I hope I understand better. And yeah, that's basically what I would do. I would try to suggest someone who can maybe do better than me. And because I'm not perfect, I'm still learning a lot about the Jewish advertising space. And I think this space is so ever evolving, the Jewish advertising space. And I can go a bit more into that if you would like. I can do like a minute synopsis. Jewish advertising is fascinating. The cost per view, it's kind of crazy when you look at it compared to secular advertising. But that's the cost. I like to say Jewish inflation. Like you go buy a piece of meat at ShopRite that's not kosher versus buying a piece of steak, I don't know, like Gourmet Glatt or Seasons or any of these places. It's going to be a little more. And like, so the quality of Jewish advertising is better. You really are able to market only Jews, as opposed to general advertising. You're marketing to everyone, and that's why it might be a little more expensive. But yeah, it is ever evolving. You see a lot of WhatsApp status. You see a lot of magazines. I like to think it's going more towards influencers also, and those personalities. So that's something that's going to evolve to more personality and how to be, I don't know, just add like a flavor to it. And you asked also good customer feedback. First thing I like to say is thank you, always, because regardless if it's good or bad, like I just want to know how it was, so I can understand better for the next time. That's the only way these businesses get better. 4 or 5 team businesses. It's the only reason they get better. It's because customers say how it was. And I don't think it's fair that some customers will go use a business and then they not necessarily tell us how it went. Because we only want to get better. We only want to help you, and I guess people like you at the end of the day. I guess now transition to the positive feedback. I just try to say thank you. And then I try to, let's just call it, understand why it went well. And then I try to ask, like, hey, look, here's some other business ideas that we can maybe go about, or maybe try to throw some ideas at them and see what happens.
Right, proactive.
Yeah, I think I try to be proactive. I learned in business, if you look backwards, you're not looking forwards, and you always have to look forward in life. So I don't like looking backwards. I think there are reasons to look backwards in life, and I think there's a lot to learn. I think almost every time you look backwards, you have to look forward.
Right. Now, switching to a more personal side, assuming you have one, what is the best way to maintain a healthy work-life balance?
First thing is get a separate phone from your work phone. I learned this the hard way. What really drew that in the fence, or drew that in the line in the sand with me, was that I was working. We were like a family barbecue, and I currently had Addictive Ads on my personal phone. I was just like looking at it all the time, like, wow, I need to be more like in person, like be part of the environment and not so attached to business. So that's the first thing I'd recommend. The second thing I'd recommend, at least for myself as a from Jew, is to not look at the business phone for at least an hour. When you start your morning, every morning, daven, do what you can. And then it's something else you have to do is, of course, a lot of our, I guess, people in the ERN group are very tech oriented. The businesses are tech centered. Something you need to do is find time to go outside, It sounds so like silly and like basic, but in reality, I'll think like, wow, it's 6 o'clock and I haven't been outside today. So for the past like, I don't know, 2 to 3 months, I've really tried to do during a lunch break, go outside or just give myself an hour, just kind of breathe and do something I love. And something else is hobbies. I find hobbies very important. Whether it's board games, whether it's a club, reading, whatever it is, you have to be able to combine that's in your personal life, and it really will help you take your mind off the business, which I think is good. Yeah.
Sounds like some great tips there. And
Thank
definitely
you.
get out there more is something that,
Yeah.
many need to do.
Yeah. If
What
I get one
are
more thing while I'm at it, I'd like these little tips that I learned that actually helped me. I don't know where I heard this from, but I try to let my brain wander for 15 minutes every single day. I think it really helps me look at different ways to do things or different opportunities that are there within my industry. And I suggest this to almost everyone that starts their own business. Just let your brain wander for 15 minutes. You don't know where you're going to go, but just do it.
You never know when the next great, big creative moment in your business will come from.
Literally.
Some great tips right there. What would you advise to aspiring entrepreneurs who are just starting out on the journey?
Throw yourself in the water. Just do it. A lot of people are just scared for a failure. I was scared of failure. I felt like as well. But what's the worst thing someone says to you? And what I've learned is when most people say no to me or my services, wherever I can provide in a business, they give a reason why. They give like a learning reason like that won't work for us because of X. And I think with most rejections that have come along in my experience have come like a value or a lesson or a reason that's helped me. To young entrepreneurs, starting entrepreneurs, I guess fresh out of the water entrepreneurs, don't be afraid. Like just do it.
Great. Thank you for the great interview, Jacob. How can people get in touch with you?
My name's Jacob Birn. LinkedIn's great. WhatsApp's great. I'm originally from Chicago, so I still have a Chicago number. 773-543-2202. We just built our new website on addictiveads.com. You can look there. And then the AdMert website has all the information. You always leave us an email, leave us a reply on the form, whatever it is.
Awesome. Thank you, Jacob. Till next time, thanks for watching the ERN Spotlight.